Welcome to part 3 of Let's Play the Shamutanti Hills by Steve Jackson. At the end of the last part, I was about to read paragraph 87. Here we go. In addition, she hands you a bag containing 7 gold pieces. Then she chuckles. You turn to leave the house quickly, but she stops you with a hand on your shoulder. Okay, let's add those 7 gold pieces. Puts me up to 31. There we go. But Aliana does not give up her prized possessions without a fight. You turn round to see her casting a spell of some sort over a chair. The chair begins to crack and creak, moving violently in front of you. It forms itself into a wood golem, which now advances towards you. Will you fight the creature? Wood golem, skill 8, stamina 6. If you win, turn to 169. Or you may cast a spell. Jig, 339. Doz, 383. Hot, 297. Kin, 410. Mug, 287. Okay, we're going to cast Hot and turn to 297. Just realised I forgot to mention the picture there. There it is. There we go, very nice. Okay, so we're turning to 297. Here we go. Deduct 4 stamina points. Let's do that. Puts me down to 15. You hold up your hand and cast the spell. A small burning fireball materialises in your palm and you fling it at the wood golem. The creature catches fire immediately and shrieks loudly. Aliana runs off for water to douse the fire before her house goes up and you make a hasty exit. Turn to 169. Hurriedly, you leave the house and follow the path back to the junction where you may head north towards Dumpus. Turn to 54. You follow the path for the rest of the afternoon until you stand on a hilltop. The path runs down the hill into a small village set on a river and you follow it down. Turn to 176. As you follow the path downwards, you pass a sign. You are entering the village of Dumpus. Will you find an inn to rest for the night? Turn to 134. Or try to make contact with the villagers? Turn to 34. Okay, we're going to try to make contact with the villagers and turn to 34. You pass along the main path through the village and stop outside a hut where several hill dwellers are sitting and eating. They are deep in discussion about something. Will you introduce yourself? Turn to 86. Or ignore them and continue? Turn to 106. We're going to ignore them and continue and turn to 106. Further along the way, you come across a couple of merchants' huts and you browse through the items for sale. If you wish, and if you can afford it, you may buy any of the following items. A finely crafted sword, 6 gold pieces, turn to 194. A woven skull cap, 4 gold pieces, turn to 247. Provisions for 3 meals, 6 gold pieces, turn to 97. If you have no money, you may ask them whether they know of any work that may be going. Turn to 229, or if you don't wish to deal with them at all, you may head for the inn for the night. Turn to 134. Okay, we're going to buy some provisions for 3 meals, 6 gold pieces, and turn to 97. Okay, so that puts me up to 5 provisions, add 3 and deduct 6 gold pieces, that puts me down to 25, and we're turning to 97. You may take these provisions with you. Now turn to 75. You leave in search of the local inn. Turn to 134. Now the inn charges 3 gold pieces for a hearty meal and 3 gold pieces for a bed. If you can afford it, you may eat. The meal, hill fox broth and rice, will restore 3 stamina points if you have not yet eaten today, or 2 stamina points if this is not your first meal. If you wish to stay at the inn for the night, turn to 115. If you cannot afford it or will not pay, you may leave the village in search of a suitable place to camp for the night. Turn to 14. Okay, we're not going to eat or stay at the inn. We're going to find a suitable place to camp for the night and turn to 14. Outside the village, you climb up into the woods. You find a suitable sheltered spot not far from another path. Will you camp for the night? Turn to 108, or continue through the night? Turn to 49. We're going to continue through the night. Yeah, we're going to continue through the night and turn to 49. So turning to 49. You may rest if you wish to eat. If you wish to eat provisions, if you have any, before your all-night trek. If you take a meal, you may add 2 stamina points if you have not already eaten today, but only 1 stamina point if you have eaten anything. Then you set off. You soon leave the woods following an uphill path, and you pause again at daybreak to get your bearings. You must lose 2 stamina points for travelling all night without sleep. Turn to 36. Okay, well, pretty much I have to eat, and then I'm going to add 2 stamina points, and I'm going to minus 2 stamina points, but I'll put that down anyway, but it's pretty pointless. But I am using some provisions. I haven't eaten today already, so I can gain 2, then lose 2 stamina points, so up to 17, then down to 15 again. So that's pretty pointless. Anyway, so we're turning to 36 now. Did you eat at all yesterday? If not, you must lose 3 stamina points as you are now very hungry. I did eat, so we're not using 3 stamina points. Continue by turning to 147. Now, the gentle upward slope becomes a steep climb, and you must rest several times during the morning. Finally, you reach the top and can look over the hill to see that the path leads into a small settlement of crudely made huts. You follow the path down and into the village. As you arrive, the villagers notice you and make for their huts, almost as if in fear. They are a sorry-looking bunch, short and squat, with tough, leathery skin. Several of them are missing limbs, and some are only able to drag themselves along with their hands. Will you try to talk with the villagers? Turn to 61, or continue onwards through the village? Turn to 220. Okay, there they are. We are going to continue onwards through the village and turn to 220. Okay, some way down the hill, you stop for a rest. You sit on a boulder to survey what lies ahead. The path leads downwards into a vale. Cradled between 3 hills is a village, and quite a large one at that. The sun is falling rapidly, and you decide to head downwards towards this settlement. An overhanging branch touches your face, and you hear a lively chirping. Hovering by your shoulder is a small creature the size of your thumb. It is childlike, but very thin, with green skin, and it flits around you on transparent wings. It seems to be quite friendly and alights on your shoulder. You may talk to it, turn to 171, or try to get rid of it with a spell. 6, 387, Wick, 336, Hop, 451, Gack, 300, Wall, 306. Okay, there's the creature. We are going to talk to it and turn to 171. The creature is a mini-mite and calls itself Jan. It is very friendly and tells you you are looking down at Biritanti, the largest village in the Shamutanti hills. Biritanti is a friendly village where all travellers spend at least 1 night. Consequently, prices are a little on the high side. Now, the mini-mite would like to come with you. Will you allow it to stay on your shoulder and follow the path down into Biritanti, turn to 111, or will you tell it you would rather travel alone, turn to 37? Okay, we're going to allow it to stay on our shoulder and follow the path down into Biritanti and turn to 111. Okay, I'll just make a note that I have Jan the... I'll put it in information. Jan the mini-mite is accompanying us. Okay. Okay, 111. There seems to be a good deal of merriment in the village. It is the festival of the young, whispers Jan. Once a year the children are allowed the freedom of the village. It is a time of great fun and pranks. A number of children sit in the street ahead drinking ale. a little too much, it seems, as they are laughing loudly. Ahead, a young boy holds an old woman over his knee and is spanking her. A group of boys is fighting outside a hut with a sign which reads Glandragor's Tavern. A group of girls is standing at a signpost pointing to the crystal waterfall, tripping up their elders as they pass and giggling to each other. Would you like to avoid this festival and make for the inn? Turn to 92. Visit the tavern, turn to 230, or head for the crystal waterfall, turn to 102, or leave town straight away, turn to 21. Okay, we are going to head for the crystal waterfall and turn to 102. You travel along a path leading upwards a little way until you reach a large natural waterfall. Now, the only path to it leads past a small hut where a ruffian is collecting money. It seems that the price to pay for visiting this waterfall is 3 gold pieces. It is a beautiful sight with large crystal stalactites hanging from the rocks all the way down. Will you pay the price and visit the waterfall, turn to 204, or return to the village and head for the inn, turn to 92, or onwards out of town, turn to 21? Okay, we are going to pay the price and visit the waterfall. And that's going to cost us 3 gold pieces. So gold goes down to 22. And we are turning to 204. The ruffian takes your 3 gold pieces and hands you a piece of cloth to use as a towel. Along with 2 other villagers, and of course Jan the Minimite, you take off your clothes and bathe in the waterfall. You begin to glow, and the cool water is not only refreshing but also invigorating. You are bathing in a waterfall with magical healing properties. You may restore your skill, stamina and luck scores to their initial values for washing away your wounds. Brilliant, okay. So only the stamina needs to go back up to 22, so that's good. The waterfall will also cure you of any diseases you may have picked up, but not curses. Then you must return to the village where you passed the inn. Turn to 92. The inn is not cheap. A bed for the night is 5 gold pieces and a meal is 4. If you eat, pay the price and add 2 stamina points, 1 if you have already eaten today. If you want to sleep here, turn to 55. If not, you had better leave the village and find a place to bed down. Turn to 21. Okay, we're going to leave the village and find a place to bed down and turn to 21. Here we are. You find a quiet place to rest outside the village. Away from the bustle of the Festival of Youth, you are able to get a good night's sleep. Now, the Minimite curls up near you. You may eat provisions before you go to sleep, and add 2 stamina points, 1 point if you have already eaten. Add 3 stamina points for the rest, then turn to 67. Okay, we don't need any of the stamina points, but we are going to eat. So we need to lose some provisions, so it puts me down to 3, but we don't need the stamina points. Anyway, now we're turning to 67. You rise early and leave soon after dawn with Jan still hovering around your head as you set off. Did you eat at all yesterday? If not, you must deduct 3 stamina points. I did, so, well, that's why I did. Anyway, there are 2 paths ahead. One uphill to the east, turn to 135, and one downhill to the west, turn to 51. Which will you choose? Okay, we're going to follow the path downhill to the west, and turn to 51. You travel downhill along the valley for an hour, but then the path turns uphill again. The hill you are now climbing is not too steep, and as noon approaches you are again on a descending path. You may stop and eat provisions if you wish, and may add 2 stamina points if you do. Okay, we're not going to eat here. Further along the path in the afternoon, Jan, who has been chattering incessantly to you, warns you to stop. You are being watched. As you are now in a wood, you proceed cautiously. Suddenly, the bushes part and a figure steps forward. Dressed in black, this tall man bars your way. Will you prepare to do battle, turn to 117, or try to talk with him, turn to 103? Okay, I think that picture is for this one. Anyway, what are we going to do? We are going to prepare to do battle and turn to 117. He doesn't look friendly. Okay, here we are. You prepare to fight the tall assassin. Assassin, skill 8, stamina 6. Or you may cast a spell. Mug, 368. Wok, 452. Zap, 305. Kill, 393. Fix, 342. If you fight and win, turn to 153. Alternatively, you may elect to spare his life when he is reduced to 3 stamina points or fewer, so long as you are clearly winning, i.e. your own stamina is at least 6, by turning to 187. We're going to fight him normally, so Assassin 8-6. Our skill is 10. But we get +3 attack strength because of the armband of sword mastery and the broadsword. Okay, so Assassin 8-6. 8-6. Is that right? Yep, okay, let's do this battle. So, rolling for him first. 8 plus... 8 plus 11 is 19. I get 6 plus 10, 16, plus 3, because I get the 3 bonus, is also 19. So 19 each. So neither of us hurts the other. Okay, next... 8 plus 4 is 12. I get 19 again, so 12 to 19. Puts him down to 4. Okay, and we are going to spare him. Okay, next. 8 plus 4 is 12. I get 17, so 12 to 17. I get the +3 bonus, so 10 plus 4 plus 3. That puts him down to 2. Okay, his stamina is now 3 or fewer. So, remove the buzzing. So now we are going to... we're going to elect to spare his life. He is reduced to 3 stamina points or fewer, so long as you are clearly winning. Our own stamina is 22, so therefore we're clearly winning. So 187, because we're sparing him, so 187. Here we go. He begs for mercy, and when you step back from the battle, he is overwhelmingly grateful. Picking himself up and nursing his wounds, he tells you he is flanker, an assassin and thief. He always picks on wayfarers for combat practice and thought you would be no match. He too is headed for Carre, and in return for your mercy, he promises he will remain your friend. This will be a valuable asset in the city port. When you reach Carre, you will meet Flanker again, and he promises he will aid you. Turn to reference 79 in the second sorcery adventure to find out how he will help. He will not accompany you to Carre and instead disappears into the woods. You have made a valuable contact here. Add 2 luck points and continue by turning to 212. Okay, okay, so we get 2 luck points, which we do not need. And I'll just say in book 2, because actually the next book is going to be the second part in the sorcery series, and we're going to keep this adventure sheet, because all the books are related. So in book 2, we can contact was his name Flanker? Yeah, flanker. You can contact flanker by turning to new line, paragraph 79. So we'll keep that and we'll turn to paragraph 79 when we do book 2 in Steve Jackson Sorcery series. Okay. And we don't need the luck points. Okay, we're turning to 212 now. Okay. Here we are. Continuing along the path and round the side of a hill, you are now becoming increasingly irritated by the Minimites chattering. You come across a small wooden hut where an old woman sits on the front step. As you pass, she calls out to you, inviting you over. Will you see what she wants, turn to 243, or ignore her and continue, turn to 235? Okay, we are going to see what she wants. And turn to 243. Okay, here we are. The old woman invites you into her house and bids you sit down. She is lonely on her own in the woods and appreciates the company of others. Offering you a drink, she shuffles off into the kitchen and returns with 2 large cups of tea and 1 tiny one. Jan is a little suspicious and tells you so. Now, the old woman glares at him and expresses openly her disgust for Minimites. She has forgotten the pot and returns to the kitchen to fetch it. You may, if you wish, switch your cup of tea with hers, turn to 48, or you may wait for her to return and drink the one she has given you. Turn to 146. Okay, there she is. Okay, we are going to wait for her to return and drink the one she has given you, and turn to 146. Now the tea is refreshing and you may add 1 stamina point, which I do not need. Also add 1 luck point, which I also don't need, do I? No. Yeah, also add 1 luck point for making the right choice. You notice that the woman is cursing and her actions are becoming slower. She creeps slowly off into the kitchen and you see her gulping down another drink. Then she comes back and questions you about your journey. She is particularly interested in knowing whether you came across an old man. If you have with you a page from a spell book, turn to 184. If not, turn to 219. Okay, we do have a page from a spell book, because that's what we got before, didn't we? So we have here it is, spell book 102 in parentheses. So we do have a page from a spell book and we're turning to 184. You describe the old man you encountered and her eyes light up. She asks whether you stole from him a page from a spell book and is overjoyed as you pull the page from your pack. Giggling with glee, she snatches it from you. Turn to 114. 4 days ago, I was visited by a traveller such as you. That's a redundant reflexive, and you know how much they annoy me. Anyway, 4 days ago, I was visited by a traveller such as you, she explains. The rogue was leafing through my book when I caught him, and as I challenged him, he raced off, taking this page with him. He must have been a wizard of some power, considering the speed with which he vanished. I cast an aging spell at him, but it seemed to do no good. She thanks you for bringing it back and offers to show you how useful it is. She will rid you of the Minimite pest if you wish. If you want to get rid of Jan and regain your ability to use spells, add together the page number you have with the number on what must be the next page and turn to that reference number. I'll say that again. If you want to get rid of Jan and regain your ability to use spells, I didn't know I'd lost it, add together the page number you have with the number on what must be the next page and turn to that reference number. If you have not recorded the page number, or if you wish to keep Jan, she allows you to leave and set off again along the path. Turn to 232. Okay, well, the page number we have is 102. The next page would be 103. So add 102 and 103, and that makes 205. So we're turning to 205. Squealing loudly, the mini-mite disappears from your shoulder. You are relieved to find that you will be able to make use of your magic once more. The old woman allows you to leave, and you continue along the path. Turn to 232. Okay, so I'll just say about that spell page. I'll say it's used. There we go. Anyway, we're now turning to 232. It is now late afternoon. You pass over the brow of the next hill, and below you is a village. The path leads into this village, and you have little choice but to enter Toripani. Toripani is inhabited by the Svins, an aggressive-looking race of man-orcs. But as you enter the village, an air of depression hanging over the place becomes quite apparent. The Svins take no notice of you, and you sit down on a tree stump in the centre of the village, surveying the miserable creatures. Will you head for the inn to spend the night, turn to 267, or attempt to make contact with the villagers, turn to 282? Okay, we are going to... Oh yes, we haven't made a note that Jan is no longer with us, so I'll just put in parentheses, he's gone. Anyway, so what are we doing? We're going to attempt to make contact with the villagers and turn to 282. Whoops. Okay, you approach a group of Svins deep in conversation and take a seat with them. They are discussing a friend apparently killed in the night by an assassin's blade. Gradually, you work your way into the conversation, and you soon learn the reason for the depression which hangs over the village. The village chief's daughter has been captured by a band of marauders and offered as a sacrifice to a powerful cave demon. According to an ancient prophecy, a dreadful scourge will overrun the village if the chief's line never ends, and his daughter is the chief's only heir. You tell them of your own travels and the creatures you have met. They realize you are a truly heroic adventurer and become very interested in you. Suddenly, one springs at you while another runs off into the village. You are held fast in a vice-like grip, but as you struggle, more Svins arrive. They march you off to a hut at the edge of the village. Turn to 71. Okay, 71. You are thrown into the hut and the door is locked. You are their prisoner. You spend half an hour looking for a possible escape, but there does not appear to be one. If you wish, you may sit down and eat provisions. Add 2 stamina points if this is your first meal today, 1 if you have already eaten. Then you may either settle down to sleep for the rest of the night, turn to 109, or keep awake and on your guard in case anything should happen, turn to 140. Okay, we are going to eat here, so another load of provisions have gone. So that puts me down to 2, but we don't need the stamina. Anyway, what are we going to do now? We're going to settle down to sleep for the rest of the night and turn to 109. You may add 2 stamina points for your rest, which I don't need, but if you did not eat at all yesterday, you must deduct 3 stamina points. You wake early the next morning, turn to 222. Okay, doesn't apply to me. Right, 222. An hour after daybreak, you hear noises outside. The door opens and 5 Svins come in, followed by an old man with grey hair and colourful robes. He announces himself as Proceus, the Svin chief, and apologises for having captured you. He nods to a menial who brings in bread and milk. You may eat this meal and add 2 stamina points, which I don't need. The chief explains that you have a mission of the utmost importance ahead of you. His young daughter, his only heir, has been captured by marauders and is being offered as a sacrifice to a powerful cave demon. Several of his own men have tried to rescue the girl, but so far with no success. "We are a desperate people," explains the chief. "You must be our champion and rescue our heir. If you succeed, you may choose your own reward." It is clear that, in spite of the chief's apparent good nature, you have little choice in this matter. You are taken out of the village and along a meandering path up another hill. On the top of the hill is a hole in the ground, and the Svins prepare a basket to lower you down into what must be a secret entrance to the demon's cave. Will you try a last attempt at escaping, turn to 215, or are you thinking only of the rich treasures you may win, turn to 100? Okay, we are thinking only of the rich treasures that we may win, so we're turning to 100. And we will read that paragraph in the next part. So thank you very much for watching. Next paragraph is 100, and I'll put unread, of course. And in the next video, we'll be reading that and carrying on with the game. We're about... yeah, we should be able to finish the book in the next video. Yeah, definitely finish the book in the next video. So, yeah, and then after that, we can make a start to the next book. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this part, and goodbye.